The lens cap off.
Oh, yeah. Are you ready? Are you going to introduce Larry?
We're going to do this.
Yeah. Oh.
Visual.
Okay. If everybody would stand. The boss man says.
As he's going up for dessert.
I know. He's disappearing. If everybody would join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you're in uniform, Scout salute. If not, hand over your heart. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Two. OA boys. Oath, please.
My honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
The Scout is
Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Hungry. You shouldn't be hungry anymore, Lowell.
Miles.
If you're hungry, it's all your fault.
Slowly
Part
the
of it.
law was said.
Yeah.
At 1:49, when they say the law, it's like, let's see who can get done the fastest. I'm just like, really?
You can get to the end fast.
All right. Mr. Corbin, would you come on up here?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Larry Corbin. I'm the council commissioner. Come down to treat you for so you can be with me, okay?
Yeah.
But,
Yay!
a lot of you I know, and I appreciate you being here. I appreciate all you're doing with scouting. It's really a fantastic program. I've been doing it since I was 8 years old, some years ago.
How many?
As I said, I'm just a year older than Janice. I'm old. But I have a couple presentations tonight, and the first one I'd like to do is to Mike Tone. So Mike, would you come up? Michael. I don't know if you go by Michael. I guess I've heard going Michael. That's what I've always heard of. So we have what we call a commissioner college every year. And this gentleman has worked on his commissioner college, and you have to do so many classes at commissioner college. And Michael has became a Bachelor of Science in Commissioner College. So congratulations, Michael. He's going to work on his master's now.
Halfway done.
So we do have one really special award that you don't see given out very often. And I'd like for Steve Drinkett to come forward. Steve Drinkett is being honored as a what kind of commissioner? No. Distinguished commissioner. He's a distinguished commissioner, which is a little red knot up here on your uniform. So you're gonna, I don't know where your little red knot is. Maybe Betty will have to sew it on there. But anyway.
Usually takes care of that once a month.
So we want to give Steve a big round of applause and a thank you for being a commissioner, distinguished commissioner. So hang on here, and I'm going to see if I can hang you, okay? This has a kink in it that's not supposed to be there, but we'll
It's the
put
way
it
it
up
was
there.
packaged.
We used to wear those a lot, but I don't know if a lot of people have those anymore. So, congratulations. Give her a smile here. Yeah. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate all that you do. While I'm up here, I'm going to talk just a little bit. If you haven't signed up for Boy Scout camp or Cubs resident camp, please do that. We have kind of a unique year this year. Week 4 has always been the slowest week of Scout camp, because everybody wants to get their beginning and stuff. This year, it's the busiest one. we have a troop, I think it's from Kentucky, but their camp closed, and they're bringing 100 kids up.
Oh, wow.
Last winter they were up with 40 kids, and Bones went out. Everybody know Bones?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Bones went out and did his work, you know, trying to get them to promote camp, and they want to bring 100 kids up, but we're going to have to put up some posts so they can use a bunch of hammocks. Yeah, they're in the hammocks, so they want to put up. We're going to put posts in back in Crow so that they can have hammocks back here and use those. So we have we've added on to shooting sports. We got a new lock building in there that we can this winter. When we're done, we can put our guns and all of our ammunition in there. Has a steel top on it, steel doors, and it's all blocked, so critters can't get in there, and kids can't get in there. And it's water, so we're going to
Two-legged critters.
working on that. Huh?
Two-legged critters.
Two-legged critters. We also, as you remember, last year we had the cement done for the down by the swim area, and we got all the lumber moved down there. The lumber was so high we waited because the lumber was supposed to go down. I don't know if it went down or not, but anyway, we got all the lumber down there. So we're going to start next week of putting that up, and that'll be nice. And we can store all the boats and paddles and life jackets and all that stuff down there, so we don't have to keep taking them up to the compound and take them up, bring them back, take them up, bring them back. So that's the expansion we're putting up. As you know, if you guys don't know this, the bankruptcy has been in court, and I haven't heard anything lately. I think I got a Zoom call coming up probably tonight. Both we have several lawyers that do free work for the scouts, with the scouts in there, and I can get on Zoom with them. But that should be coming to an end here before too long. The judge is working on that. She approves it, then it will go to New Jersey, to a district court over there, federal court, and if that's okay, then we'll start working on that. Our council is going to pay $1.3 million into that fund. That fund is going to have about $2.7 billion. It's the biggest fund anybody's ever come up with. The Methodist Church is into it, the LDS Church is into it, Catholic Church just came in on it. So a lot of the different churches, that way they don't have, in 1979 we went to youth protection training, and when that happened it just went to nothing. So most of the people getting these lawsuits are my age. None of you young people don't have that problem, but people my age where a lot of this happened, and that's what's going on with that. So there's a little information on that. Next month, I have a friend down in Evansville, Indiana, and his council is kind of small and spread out. So he does 4 Zoom meetings, roundtables a year. So I talked to him, and he helped me get it set up. Next month, it's going to be a Zoom roundtable for everybody in the council. So you'll see that coming out. I'll sign up for that. How many of you have done Zoom before? So you all pretty much know how to do Zoom.
Even Steve became an expert at it, so.
I've been on so many Zoom meetings you can't count them. But you'll see a thing to sign into that. So please join us. It's going to be on membership. It's going to be our main topic. That you can hear, you'll get information from John Goliath about the Council of National. We have a new president that's coming on. Jack Daniel will be there, the council president. I'll be there. District commissioners will be there, and they can maybe think about something. And district executives will be there. So, and you can get on, and we'll talk about membership. Is going to be our big theme. Territory 9 is our new territory for national, which is Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. And that's what Michael and I have our Territory 9 thing we got at our commissioner training. And there's a lady there that does membership, and I'm going to talk to her and see if she can't do a little short program on membership from the National. So you guys will be right up on that. So please join us. We're going to have another one in November. This is going to be mostly on recharter. So if these go well, let me know if you like them. If they do well, let me know. Let Michael know so that we can get more of them planned, or we can do 2 or 3 a year. It'd be fantastic. Any questions for me? Let me go sit down and shut up. At our council meetings, they all say, "Oh God, Larry's going to talk forever." So they don't like me to talk very long. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be here. Thank you. Congratulations, Steve and Michael. Here you go, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Steve and I have known Larry just a little while,
Yeah.
too.
Not as long as Janice has, though.
Probably not. Steve and I got involved when our youngest was born, and he's going to be the father of 50-year-olds here in a few years, and he's also, again, going to be the father of a 40-year-old again. So, probably 35 years or so we've known Larry. And we went through the Old Wood Badge, the week-long Old Wood Badge, in one of the hottest Junes on record up at CCLT.
Yep.
So if you don't bond with your fellow scouters in that kind of weather, then you're not going to bond with them.
We've got one shower and
Yep.
one swim, and then we
That
split
was
the
it.
rest of the time. Yep.
And Larry poured a big container of ice cold water down my back, and I didn't mind it at all.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Do we know how our district chairman is? Has he had surgery yet? Is it impending?
Dave Putt is scheduled to do, I don't know what the schedule is, but I called him Monday because last week he was supposed to have some tests done. He said he got those tests done and he was waiting for the doctor to call. So I called him and he says, he called the nurse, must have been Monday morning or Monday morning or something, and she said, "Oh, the doctor's on vacation this week, so." So she said your tests are all in, so the doctor will call you on Monday when he gets back. But he has 95% blockages in his heart and his arteries, and he's got one other one that's
48%.
not much better than that. So they are planning to do a quadruple bypass for him. He's hoping by the end of the month.
And Dr. Shirley, he can come up and do Cup Resident Camp as a camp commissioner for me.
So, you know, I had breakfast with Dave last week one day, and he's in pretty good spirits, but he's just scared to death about what's going on. But he said the doctor told him these are more common every year, and that if things go well, he'll be able to be back in the swing of things, and he said they won't have to do it ever again. So anyway, so Dave, keep Dave in your prayers. I will try to keep everybody updated when I hear what's going on with him. I'll try to send out a text message or an email. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but Steve has been posting on Facebook on the Wabash Valley District page. So I am trying to
learned.
what?
Becoming learned at the Facebook.
I don't know
page.
if learned is the correct term, but I've been putting some stuff out there. So anyway.
Okay. How many of you know Bill Curl? Bill Curl's wife was diagnosed with terminal cancer in February.
something like that, yeah.
And she's not doing well. So keep Bill and his family in mind.
She passed away.
She
She passed away.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Like
didn't hear
6
that.
weeks, she was diagnosed, and 6 weeks later she passed away.
I'm sorry.
Just like
Like two
a
weeks
week
ago.
or two right after the 08 thing.
Yeah,
Was it then? Okay.
yeah, so, yeah. So, keep Dave and our other scouters in your prayers, so, may I speak some more?
No, not now.
All right.
Hey, you can go right ahead. I mean, I can
Michael.
have Larry, it says my commissioner's minute, so.
District Commissioner, you're up.
So, I can, my time.
That's totally up to you.
Really, all that I have is,
It's totally up to you.
going to be a little bit of tag on for next month with my unit commissioners and everybody, looking at different ways of getting additional membership into our groups and our units. Expand, contact other councils around us, because I have friends at Sagamore and at, you know, Buffalo and everything. Network, get different ideas, because things that may not be working for you at our level, in our district, maybe different ideas from those different councils could work and help gather more membership. Different ways of getting into schools, YMCA's, different ways of getting into churches. Boys and Girls Club, definitely. I mean, it's just getting the information in there and getting the youth that are in your units excited about telling their friends to bring them. Because no matter what we do, we put out there as advertisement, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, unless they have friends or youth that are excited about it too, it's a hard draw right now. And that's what we've been going through for the past year and a half, not just with what COVID's been going on. So just, unit commissioners, make sure that you're getting into the scout book and getting into commissioners' tools before they get shut down all the way, because I hear that's going to be coming for a little bit. Just let me know how your units are doing, and that way we can go through and see where we need to spend more additional time on the units that need a little bit more help, and the ones that are striving and succeeding. Okay? That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Steve, you had a chance to sit down and catch your breath.
All right. Several things. Papers on the table over there. The DNR is doing another weed wrangle and invasive stampede at WABASH on April the 23rd, and at Salamone Lake, Lost Bridges West on September 24th. They're doing elimination of invasive species. So if you have scouts that need a service hours, it's like from what, 10 to noon, so 2 hours.
Their emphasis will be on the poison hemlock and the garlic mustard.
Okay, so I went last year. It was really it really knocked out a big, huge section there at the gatehouse at WABASH, so it was good.
WABASH.
Oh, WABASH. People don't know where WABASH is. WABASH is clear over there. Anyway, also on the table, I don't know if you have seen, but the council has hired Betsy Yankovic. I think I said it right. Yakoviak. Yankoviak. She is now the czar for CCLT and Anthony Wayne Scout Reservation, and she is in charge. She's going to be the camp director this year, and she is putting out this little newsletter. So you should be receiving this in email. If you have not received this in email, let me know so I can get you on her list. But this is the April version. The March version is over there. But she was talking about how to register for camp, and I didn't have time to read through all that stuff to know if I was needing to do both of those.
She's enthusiastic.
She's very enthusiastic, and she is trying to put together a staff for summer camp this year. So if you have older scouts in your troop that may need to do something this summer, you know, and summer camp would be a great place to do it. So,
Steve, have you told them much about summer camp? I was with Betsy Monday. Summer camp's going back to the way it was. Chow hall, lunch is in the chow hall.
but they're still going to do one-day merit badges, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the chow,
Chow's
the
in
dining
chow
hall is
hall.
going back to breakfast, lunch, dinner. You know, so
Be a little
yeah.
different.
So it'll be, I think, yeah, then the merit badges will still be.
But everybody liked those.
Yeah, everybody liked that. So, also I have, we are planning day camp. I have scout registration forms as well as the adult registration form. We need adults to help with day camp, June 8, 9, and 10. So we also need kids. We're wanting to try to get this back together so that we can give these kids a great day camp this summer. So if you have Cub Scouts that that want to go, get them signed up.
And if you have some Boy Scouts that need service hours,
Yes.
they can come be helpers.
So yeah. Okay. So
There's got to be a
there's
better word
there's
for it.
forms on the table back there.
What it is.
Volunteers.
Den chiefs.
Den chiefs. Right.
I can be den chiefs.
And I have also given out.
Then cheese.
This is the flyer agenda for the spring camporee coming down the pipe in 3 weeks. Okay. This is not a hard draft. This is a rough draft. So any of this stuff is up for discussion. I have also in a packet that I gave everyone I was trying to think of some things that we have not done. All these kids have done, burn the string and played, had sled races and other stuff that's basic camporee things. So I tried to find some things that were more team building. So that's kind of what this is. So the first page of that one, the flagpole race, where they're going to lash together 4 or 5 staves and hang their neckerchief or their flag from the top of it, and put the guy wires down. That was one of the events that I considered. First aid rescue was another one, and then I looked at some wood badge things that we had done. The human knot, I think people have done that before. The clothesline is you tie the.
That's a new one they just put on this course.
Yeah, so
That sounds dangerous.
it is not real dangerous, but it's a.
Hey Steve.
Right. Yeah, I know.
The 11
Faster than a Concorde.
I know, right? So, clothesline, you tie it up on the tree and you put it and you stake it to the ground, and then they have to figure out how to get the whole group
It's
over.
really fun watching a venture crew group try and figure that one out. That was fun.
That was fun, yeah. The dinosaur egg with had to figure out what kind of a ring we want to use and what kind of a ball. You tie some ropes to a circle, a ring.
It's a ring of PVC.
Yeah, and
PVC pipe.
they have to get the ball from here to there by working together. The Brown Sea Island turnaround, which is the tarp on the ground, and it keeps getting smaller and smaller, and they have to get everybody on the tarp. And then the May King message machine is some PVC pipe. They have a tennis or a golf ball. They put it in the PVC pipe, and they have to pass it down the line without dropping it.
Without being seen.
Without being seen. etc. And then this last page is one of my cub leaders or cub moms said that the park has instituted this this trek that goes around to all the CCC Civilian Conservation Corps sites at Apache State Park, and you got to take a picture, where you're at, and send it in or whatever. But that's one of the things that we can do.
I like the first aid rescue idea. That's a good one to practice for the scouts to learn the right techniques.
Right. So my thought is to have,
Yourself all the time?
after opening flags, have a patrol activities from like 30 minutes apiece. So 5 of those up till noon. So noon to 1, we would have a camp-wide lunch. That's totally up to you guys if we want to do that. What do we want to have, and all that stuff. So camp-wide lunch, and then after 1 o'clock, it would be we would open it up to, I don't want to call it free time because I don't want kids running amok all over the campground, all over the state park, but would like to have them, if they need to work on cooking merit badge, or they need to work on hiking merit badge, or they need to work on some other advancement thing for them, that they need to work on, they can do that. If they want to take a hike, they want to go climb the fire tower, they can go over and go around the bison pen, they want to go walk around the lake, they can go fishing. I think May 1st is a free fishing. Is a free fishing day. So anyway, the afternoon time will be a on your own, do what you want to do type of a thing. Then I have at 4 o'clock begin preparation for a camp-wide potluck dinner. So each troop would make a dish, either in a Dutch oven or on the fire, but make enough for everyone to share. Again, this is all up for discussion. 6 o'clock we would have the potluck dinner. 8 o'clock would be closing campfire. And then on Sunday we'd get up, eat breakfast, do we really don't do flags on Sunday, so then we do a scout zone service about 9 a.m. and pack up and go home. So I am open for input on any of this. I just sat there this afternoon and said, oh, this would be cool, oh, this would be cool. And I wrote it down. So if you think of something else that we want to do, I'm open for that. This is not cast in stone by any stretch of the imagination. So
when they make the dinner, change it up a little bit and have random cards with different countries on it. That way they have to figure out how to make something from a different country.
I like it, but I think you got to do it when they register, then send them the country, because that way it gives them the time to do some research and.
Yeah, well, I mean, we need to do that. We need to do that like next week.
That way you're not getting 17, don't get me wrong, 17 Dutch oven, upside down cakes and stuff like that. It works.
Mac and cheese or whatever.
But
so, okay, yeah. I mean, I was thinking about assigning different patrols or different troops a different thing.
Chain of links to.
All right.
in
I don't know. We're just gonna do. It's to practice to get some to do.
Okay. Yeah. So there's 7. Okay. Okay. So anyway, I'm done.
All right.
So let me know if you have comments about that.
Okay. All right. So one of our topics for tonight, the hot topic, was outdoor ethics, and some of this has changed over the years. Part of it has to do with Earth Day and Lady Bird Johnson and concern with pollution, but also, there used to be a joke back in the day when you had full top cans that the tourists were gonna fill up the Grand Canyon with the full tops from the aluminum cans, but anybody too young won't know what that means. So plastic bottles are a good point. I was impressed at Walmart, which was strange because I'm not always impressed with Walmart, but there was one of the little guys running around with one of the little vests on that said 6 plastic bottles made this vest. So make sure you recycle your plastic bottles. They do make things. There's t-shirts that are the plastic bottles are used for. But that's part of the ethics, but how the Boy Scouts deal with it. The outdoor ethics guide is this. See how many pages was it? Yeah. Number of pages.
One was 20-something, the other was 8.
Doesn't say. Well, anyway, it's thick. Okay? And there is an awareness awards that can be earned when you're working on outdoor ethics. However, in a way, if you're following the Scout law and the oath, you're following proper outdoor ethics. But you're supposed to be making responsible outdoor decisions to keep the outdoors so that everybody can enjoy it. The duties for outdoor ethics are to explain and demonstrate advancement requirements, help your unit plan and conduct an effective outdoor ethics program, prepare din chiefs to share principles with the Cubs, help Scouts to understand and plan conservation activities, encourage Scouts to complete outdoor ethics awards and merit badges, and also it has a self-evaluation for you to do to see if you are aware and are performing the outdoor ethics. Part of the outdoor ethics, the way the Boy Scouts do it is they don't reinvent the wheel. They use what's going on. So what's going on is tread lightly and leave no trace. And what I did to get my name on these certificates was to go online to the Boy Scout website, to ethics, and it leads you to the tread lightly and the leave no trace. And you go through and just like anything else, you read a couple of sentences, then you answer a couple of goofy questions that dealt with the 2 sentences, and you move on. There was one little glitch. Well, anyway, I thought it was a glitch. Because it said when I answered the questions, all 3 questions, I answered correctly, but when it said how many I had right, it said I had 2 out of 3 right. So I didn't quite understand that, but it gave me my certificate, so to heck with that. Tread lightly deals with these principles. Travel responsibly, respect the rights of others, educate yourself, that's what we're doing, avoid sensitive areas, and do your part. Okay. Leave no trace is 1, plan ahead. 2, walk on durable surfaces. 3, trash your trash. 4, take only pictures, or leave only footprints, however you want to say it.
Take only pictures.
Yeah. 5, respect fires. Got a lot of 6. 6, respect wildlife. I need somebody. Come here, Miles. 7, respect others. Peace. Okay.
You didn't know what that means.
So,
That is over
the hand motions are something that Leave No Trace has come up with. It's been taught up at Camp Little Turtle a couple of times. If If you hear Chasen do it at number 4, he will say Google, because the young man that was doing the council training had just been to the training and had gotten home like at 4 o'clock in the morning before the Super Scout Saturday, and he wasn't too awake and he couldn't remember what number 4 was, and so he had to Google it on his phone to find out what number 4 was. So every time Chasen does it, he comes to number 4 and he says, Google. But anyway, these are good principles to teach your Cub Scouts and your Scouts. We should all be aware, we should all be recycling, we should all be trying to keep our trash picked up. And one of our most endangered resources that you don't hear too much about is water. There's a reason why a lot of people prefer to drink water out of a bottle, because some places they don't have drinking water that can come out of a faucet. And I've been getting very upset. It's been raising my blood pressure with all these people saying, well, open the Keystone Pipeline. The biggest aquifer in the United States that provides most of the water that waters your fruits and vegetables and your cattle and your pork is under the Keystone Pipeline. And one article I read said that it leaks, when it's turned on, it leaks 38,000 gallons of crude oil a day into the Olagala aquifer. And I don't know, Steve doesn't like our water. You know, gas and oil boom, Indiana smells like natural gas. Has that oily sheen on it sometimes, you know? So I don't think I want any more gas and oil in my water than what there is right now. But that's part of our ethics. That's part of what we have to be aware of.
Speaking of the water, I may have the statistics wrong, but I think the last thing I read was that the state of Indiana is like 70 to 8% of the waterways are polluted, and that the DNR advises that you limit your consumption of fish that you catch in the Indiana lakes to something like 3 or 4 a season.
Yeah.
Very limited.
And don't blame the farmers, folks. Don't blame the farmers. True Green, Blonde, whatever it is, those are the guys that are doing it. It's ag chemicals, yes, but it's not coming from the farmers.
It's both.
Well, it comes from both, but a higher percentage of it comes from the lawn care industry.
But the other key on that report on the rivers is, from a standpoint of the nationals, Indiana actually has a plan that they are continually update as they go after the 10% worst to improve.
Yeah.
And when they get those improved, they go after the next 10%. They have that continued. They said that Indiana has a better plan to try and improve its waterways than any other state in the country.
Yeah.
By far.
Well, and they are working to educate the farmers so that they have awards that are given that are river-friendly farmers and farmers who are doing things to cut down erosion and to cut down pesticides and herbicide drifting into the water are recognized for their efforts.
Because they want to keep the rivers clean.
Yep.
But I know agriculture creates some of the pollution,
Yeah.
but farmers aren't going to be wasting these chemicals and fertilizer as much as it is, as much as it costs an acre.
Yeah.
And like I always told everybody, to test the water. Before it goes to Fort Wayne, and after it comes out of Fort Wayne, because I know too many people from where I go on, buy a 50-pound bag of fertilizer, that's enough to do their the lawn 4 times, they'll put it all on because they want the greenest, baddest lawn in the neighborhood, and it goes on the concrete and washes right down
Yeah.
the stormwater. So I think we're all contributing to it. We all have to be careful.
And that's what we need to educate. We need to educate ourselves as well as our youth that we work with, and help them to understand that it becomes a way of life, and it's a habit, and you do it without even realizing you're doing it, and that's the best way to protect our resources. And that's what this is all about.
Well, keep reminding them, the point of the scout law on thrifty, a big part of that is conservation of resources in general, and a lot of scouts, when they hear thrifty, the only thing they think about is the wallet. It's a whole lot more than that.
Yeah. Well, and the Native Americans, of course, had this saying about, you're borrowing the resources from your grandchildren. So you've got to take care of it so it'll be for them.
Some of the Americans are trying to borrow from their great-great-great-grandchildren.
Yeah, well, that's true.
6 or 7 generations now.
Yeah, but you try to talk to Miles and Jason about their grandkids. They can't even imagine kids, let alone grandkids. Alrighty. Are we ready for our guest speaker tonight? I'm not sure you all know who he is.
He's not here yet.
He's not here yet.
I guess I'll set in.
Okay. Mr. Rich.
Hola.
Hola.
Hi everybody, I'm Mr. Rich. You can call me Kevin. Scoutmaster, Troop 60, Decatur. At least that's what they call me.
Can I pause you a minute?
Sure.
He's got displays if you'd all like to move up around
Yeah,
his
come
table
on in.
so that you can see what he has to talk to you about.
I have things. Things and stuff? Things and stuff.
Things and stuff.
So, Betty reached out a while back, looking for somebody to see if anybody'd be interested in doing something on bicycling, which is something I've been interested in all my life. Starting out when I was probably 3rd grade or so, I was going on 15, 20-mile bike rides with my dad on just a BMX-style bicycle. So I had my work cut out for me back then. That was a rough deal. But I thought I'd give it a shot, do the best I can with this, and kind of go over some cycling. I was a bicycling merit badge a few years back, so I had to kind of read through this to refresh myself. There's a lot of things I had forgotten, but there's a lot of great information in here. If you're into cycling, give it a reading through. It'll walk you through a lot of your general maintenance on a bike. Turns out I haven't been too far off after all. A little about myself with cycling. The bike that I do ride with right now was actually refurbished. It was actually purchased for my dad. His first Father's Day. It was a gift for him way back in 1974. I was born July of '73, so he had to wait a whole year to get that bike for his birthday or Father's Day gift. And it was fixed up years later and gifted to me when I was probably 12 years old. Could barely get on the thing. It looks so tiny now, but I can remember getting my leg up here and then just sliding over, crushing a few things and taking off before I fell over. But I got taller and things worked out. Old steel frame, 10-speed. Some people may be familiar with these ones. A lot of bikes nowadays, there's so much going on with them. I'm going to use this as a demo on some of the just basic maintenance. If you're wanting to get out and cycle, there are many people here that get out and cycle much. Anybody rode more than 10 miles?
In one time? Or?
50, yeah. Hey, 50 milers?
Never mind.
We got a cyclist here. What about 100?
I've done 50 milers. I've done 101.
Nice. Yeah, I grew up doing a lot of 20, 30 mile bike rides with buddies. We'd ride all over out in the country. We had a nice spot out in the small town we'd ride to.
get refreshments, something to eat, and ride back. That was just something we really enjoyed doing. Parents didn't like it too well when they find out because they didn't like us going on heading out that far. When we're fifth, sixth grade doing that together by ourselves. But I strangled my kid if I knew he did that. And he may have, and hasn't told me that. Yeah, that's about to the extent of it. When I was younger, wasn't allowed to have a moped. Mopeds were for sissies, I was told. So I had to pedal a little harder until I was old enough to finally get a license. And then I didn't ride much at all until about 2000. I used to always hear at work about a fundraiser that was out of Toledo. It was called Bike to the Bay. 150-mile round trip, 75 miles one day. You camp out, or if you had the money, you stay in a hotel or whatever, and ride back the next day. I did the camp out in the rain. That was a rough ride. It was a lot of fun. Met a lot of neat people, well organized. They'd have little rest stops about every 10-15 miles. Last probably 15 miles, my left knee went out on me, and that was tough. And yeah, I went over to Foot Bay Island. That was a mistake.
Like,
well, what they do with this is once you get to Fort Clinton, you get a free Jet Express pass. Head over to the island. You go there, and with the Jet Express, you have to pick a time that you're leaving and a time that you're returning, so I can work out the seating. And it was either I got there, stepped on land, got back on the next jet to come back, or stuck around till the last run, which is like 1:30 in the morning. And yeah, reveille, I guess you want to call it, was like at 6:30 in the morning. That was bad. Yeah, I will not do that again. Not like that. But I made it. That was a rough ride, but an awesome ride, and it's for the MS Society. It's a fundraiser that they have for that. You have to raise a minimum amount of funds to participate in it. There's a lot of great volunteers, and it's a really good time. You get to meet a lot of neat people and interesting stories that they have. A lot of different types of biking, different bikes that you'll see out there, and experiences that they have with them. And there's some people. This bike, I don't know, I think I paid, I put about $500-600 into it to get to where it is now. But there's people out there with bikes that are $6,000, $7,000, $10,000, maybe even more. They're outrageous, but those are real hard enthusiasts. I just like tour riding. I like going long rides. The longest I had done was back in 2012, and I rode. Indiana has a real nice biking. Like a bike event. It's called the Rainstorm, and basically they ride north to south, east to west, and all over the state. And then they have just the rain ride. It's a one-day ride across Indiana. You start out in what is that town? Terre Haute. You ride across all the way to Richmond. It's like 165 miles, one-day bike ride. Did it. That was tough. So yeah, 165 miles in one day is my best, but it took a lot of training to get there. The next year, I was doing some run training, so I didn't bicycle train that much. After doing all run training, I thought, well, it's leg muscles, same thing, right? That was a 145-mile bike ride. 40 miles into it, my knee went out on me. In the last 100 miles, nightmare. Grown man crying the whole way there. It was bad, but I made it. And I haven't done a wicked ride like that since then, but I'm looking forward to it. Done in June, the end of June here, Decatur has the Black 50 bike ride event that's going on there. That's really cool. If anybody's looking to do, like, say, have the merit badge for cycling. When we first started in with the Boy Scouts, when my boy got in there, and I joined with their group as an adult leader, I signed up as a cycling merit badge, and we trained that whole summer leading up to it. We'd get together and we'd go through the different stuff in the merit badge requirements. And part of it is going on smaller rides and building up until you can safely and successfully do a 50-mile bike ride. And I want to say maybe 3 11-year-olds that completed it. And another one that was probably like 14, and one, I think he was 16 or whatever. We actually put together
my wife had these made up, someone that she knew, but it's the wicking shirt. We had a little team and we were out riding. It was cool. We had a good time, and I was really impressed to see those little guys push all the way through that 50 miles. I was pretty proud to be able to do 20 or 30 when I was younger, and boy, that was really cool. But a lot of practice, you'll get there. But I'm just gonna kind of maybe go through, use the book to help kind of guide through, and touch on some of the stuff. Like say if you were going to get into cycling, this is stuff I need to do myself. I was looking over some stuff. I was like, uh-oh, I got some problems going on with my bike already. Some basic maintenance, some things to look at, and some things you need to know before you go out and do some riding. So let's see where we want to start here. Biking, you know, there's a lot of different bikes out there nowadays. Especially, basically, there's mountain bikes, BMX bikes, and the road bikes. But there's some really crazy bikes that are out there right now. Brake system, if you was to do a walkthrough, I'll just bring this around. American tires. Yeah, it's not ready yet. We'll do a demonstration of pumping here in a little bit. So. So this is what I ride with. It's different handlebars that I put on there. These are the original. Didn't really give you much to grab onto, little dinky things. Those give you a little more to grab onto. Different positions. You're going to be doing a lot of long riding. Make sure you have good hand ramp. The grab on these on there now. I've had this on for a few years, and it really absorbs the shock real nice. When you're riding, there's a lot, especially out in the country, some of that gets pretty rough. There's a lot of vibrations through there where your hands, they'll be numb. They'll start stinging and go numb. I have gloves. I don't know where those are at. I can find those. But I wear those in addition to the padding that I have on here. So definitely invest in a good set of handlebar wrapping.
Landon borrowed his gloves for his 20 and 30 mile.
You know what? I was going to check this bike and I forgot to on the way out. I bet that's where they're at. Probably from last year when when I worked in the Flat 50, I was doing the barbecue cook-off downtown while I was at Madison. That was my ticket out. But he probably has those. But these handlebars are really light. When you're riding, this is kind of more of an upright position. You're going to catch a lot of wind, but it's a nice, easy ride. If you're going into headwind, down here and grip a little bit. We're way down in here, but that kind of gets to your back after a bit. That's where these aero bars, this is called an aero bar. Right, we have it invested in. There's this little armrest for it. You can get down in here. You gotta be careful. First time I went to use it, I got wiped out. You don't want to grab it here and go like that. You'll go over the handlebars real quick. You just gotta be careful, kind of getting your elbows in place. And this will get you down, if you're going into headwind, I've been able to increase my speed by about 3 to 4 miles an hour just from cutting down into it. I'm not a very fast rider. You get those guys that do 25, 30 miles an hour, no problem. They're carrying on a conversation and they're in a nice little line and you got their little system that they have. I'm like 15 to 17 miles an hour. But, yeah, every little bit, anything I can get to help my ride out, I want to take it. This really helps. If you're bad, you go on those long rides, it starts to sting back here after a bit. So you want to do anything you can, get some comfort with that. Let's see. Tires. Oh, I see this one's all backwards already. How about that? A lot of tires nowadays. When you're going out, getting started for the season, definitely check out your tires. Make sure that you're not cracking. You don't want any cracking going on there. You know, that rubber starts to cure up. Rubber hardens over time. These are still in pretty good shape. I'm sure I can get another season out of them. There's different style of tread.
Put air in them?
Yeah, ideally, that's a good idea. That helps. there is a lot of different treading on here. This come off my wife's bike, and these are decent. You got a lot more tread to them. They're a lot. You're gonna have a safer ride. You're not gonna wipe out so easily. It's got more grip to it. But if you're going on the longer rides, I go with as narrow the tire as I can get, and as minimal. There's different type of treading on here to where it is not as aggressive of a bite, but it's going to give me less resistance on the road. And these tires here, they pump up, I believe it's 110 psi, where these are like a maximum of 85 or so. So that what you have is you got more of a footprint on the road. You're going to get more resistance. And these are great tires for that, but you want something that's going to not grab so much if you're going a long ride. Then you get into, like, say, the mountain bikes and stuff, which have more special thing. Get more of your nub to it. That's it if you're kind of going off road. Now there are tires that'll have a trying to think how to explain it. It'll have like a bead running through the middle, like a tread running through the middle. That's good for road, but it'll also have the nubs on the side to get you traction if you happen to go off road, kind of a on-road, off-road kind of combination.
Multi-purpose.
Yeah, like a multi-purpose.
Does your wife ride on that one?
No, but the kids do. I'm trying to get her to do it sometimes. So yeah, there's a lot of different tires. It just depends on what you're looking to do. These ones that I have on here have what's called, there's two different types of valves that you gotta watch out for on bikes nowadays. A lot of them are what they're called a Presta valve. And oh shoot, that's what this one's. The popular one that you'll see nowadays, it's called the here's your Presta valve. And the way those work, Presta. Well, this is a freebie from the bike shop just so I can demonstrate, and now I know why. What they have nowadays, your valve is sticking out of your tire there. To pump that up, there's a little lock-in threaded little bolt there that you release. And when you attach your pump to it, when you're pumping into it, that presses down. That presses into it, that does your air, and it's supposed to spring back into place when you got air in there. This was junk. And then afterwards, you tighten that back up. There's a rubber O-ring in there that seals that off. People, they're really big on these, especially with the smaller tires. Like this right here, you get a smaller gear flat right now. If you don't hurry up and stop, you have like, these are the aluminum alloy rims. You go knock them out, bend them up, you're done. And these are supposed to help lock that valve off. Keep you from having a leak there. These ones here, the ones that we all know from our cars and stuff like that, are the Schrader valves. And they're the needle, then we all know that's inside there. And you don't have anything to lock that off. You just have your cap you put on there. But that one of these. There it is. If you do have this style of valves on your bike or kids or whatever, that needle, there is a tool. This is actually a cap that would go on there. We turn that around. I don't know if you've ever messed with that before. I remember somebody, a kid in the neighborhood, thought he was funny taking them out on bikes one time. But it's good to have this tool on you, because I have, very rarely has it happened, but I have had where after I pump it up, I can hear a steady leak coming from that. There's your valve that comes out there. It's got a little O-ring on there, a little sealer on there. And if that's not in there tight, that can leak on you. So it's good to have at least one of these caps on your bike if you're running with something like that, in case if that does start to leaking on you and you're stuck out in the middle of the country. Because you can have a pump with you that in here.
It's hard to ride.
Yeah. If you've ever had to try to pump up a tire like I have, something like this, you're gonna be mad. It's a lot of work. You know, it's good to have. This is a pump that I keep on my bike. Every once, you know, just in case. I've had blow-offs before, and I've had to do repairs on the go. And yeah, that's not very much air that's in that thing. You go and pump that up, especially if you're trying to get up to 100, 110 psi. I might get up to about 70 or so, and I'm happy with that. Just to get going. Yeah, I hope I can get to a gas station or something like that, or somebody with a better pump. But let's see, tires. What else with that? There's tools. I don't like messing with this, but it's here if I ever have to get up. You'll want to check your rims before you really get to riding. This is really, I'll spend the extra money and I'll take it to the shop. I don't mind, because I like to have that as smooth as possible. You start to get a little wobble in it, and you go hit a nice bump, and it's going to throw that out. The other, I guess, advantage to having the Presta valves versus the Traeger valves is there's a smaller hole. This is your weakest point on your tire, your rim. You go and bang that up. That's part of it. And then, yeah, there are a lot of different rims out there too. You see some people with, I've seen ones where there's maybe a third of that many spokes, and they're actually weight limited. Some of the bigger boys, it's not a good idea to be on there, and they will buck them. So I'm happy with this. That's fine with me. I don't know what they're after. I think wind resistance, but it's fine with me. I like that right there. Yeah, they still make the gum holes. That's what they call that. The old style. Kind of keep that vintage look going on. Well, next thing another thing you want to look out for too on your bike when you're getting started for the season. And I noticed mine was loose. I was loose right. You see, I'm turning that in my hand right now. And this, you can tell there's a wobble in there. If that comes apart on me, it's not going to be good. Which your neck here, your handlebar piece is adjustable. This is the old one that came from it, but I believe it's about 2.5 inches minimum. You want embedded in there. There should be a line on there to let you know when you're exceeding that maximum, that minimum depth set. And the way that works, you've got your little bolt on, your little bolt there where your handlebars would be. As you're tightening that up, this little wedge piece actually lifts up and expands, and that's how that locks into place there. Make sure that's good and tight. Don't want that popping off on you. Well, brakes. Brakes, yes. Let's go into brakes. Brakes, you want to make sure you've got a good travel. You want to be able to get good stopping with your brakes without. See right there, I'm gripping pretty good, and I'm not even bottomed out yet. And your brake pads, and I can see I have a problem with that on this one here. The front of your brake should actually be making contact first when you go to stop. And I don't know why that is, other than I think that might help with not trapping dirt and stuff like that as you're applying your brakes. So you want to make sure that, and you can bend that, reshape that to make sure your brakes are catching right. If your brakes got to have, like the rubber, like an old eraser, for example, they get kind of old, they get kind of slick, and sometimes you can kind of work them down a little bit, get into that fresh rubber. You can do that with these as well, and that can help you out. If they're just really old and not stopping very good for you, get rid of them, get new ones. They don't cost that much. Just make sure you take in whatever you have, because there's so many different styles of brakes anymore. And this is the old, they have ones that are like disc brakes nowadays that actually use hydraulic fluid. There's different styles. I don't remember, the names are in the book, but there's where the clamp action will be over top, mine's off to the side. Then there's the ones you see a lot nowadays where they have their own little dipping spots on there that bring them in, lock them in place. But you want to make sure that that's centered and that the travel, you don't want it rubbing, spin. Make sure that almost every rim's going to have a wobble in there somewhere, a little bit of weight to it. But you want to make sure that that's not rubbing, because you'll feel that when you start riding for a while. That makes a big difference. Make sure your cables are in good shape, set, adjusted. There are set screws in here. There's a lot of information on the internet anymore as to how all that works for making your adjustments for your travel, for your brake. Alright, good. I'm glad to hear that. I can do that. Okay, so I'll be told, wrap it up, and I'm glad to hear that, because I was afraid of not getting into enough detail. So let me get through to your chains. You want to check and make sure, grab your pedals, make sure that there's no play in there. That can happen, that could go bad, that could loosen up. Make sure it's spinning nice and freely. If it's acting up, don't even mess with that, just take it to the bike shop every year. I take my bike in and have the pros take a look at it, then just do the general maintenance through the rest of the year. Your chain, they can look at that and they will know this has been stretching. I've had to have them replaced because of stretching from pulling loads or whatever. And just had the hard riding. And with lubrication, you want to use something like a silicone base or whatever. There is the bike shop in Decatur. This is their brand that they really like. All you want to do is spray your chain. You don't need to get all the gears and everything like that. And you don't want to use like an oil, like a sticky oil, because it'll grab all the fine dust and everything, and that'll just eat away at your gears over time. You don't want to mess with that. Let's see here. Your seat. Now that's a pretty narrow seat, but I have actually found that long riding, the wider seats, you'll get a lot of friction in your thigh. It's harder to ride, so I am going with the narrower one. But there are special shorts. I'm not going to model them today, but they do have padding in there that'll help make that ride a lot easier. These I wear them under shorts because yeah, that's a little weird. A little too much. Your gears, make sure everything's traveling nice and easy on there, no clicking and stuff like that. There are adjustments, like on here, there are you hear that control the travel for your derailleur. So that's where you would work at. Make sure that everything's working fine. You don't have any problems with your cables. None of it's starting to fray away. You want to get some lubrication anywhere that you can into your cable, because moisture gets in there and it'll start seizing up over time or start rusting away and falling apart on you. Let me see here. Reflectors. Yeah, I'm busted. I don't have my front reflector on right now, but you should have a white reflector on your front, red on the rear, which I do whenever I ride. I usually carry something. I'll have this underneath here with a light. I used to think that was the dorkiest thing to have the lights on your bike, but nowadays I get it. I've been in too many situations where I've seen people bomb get taken out, or on the Michigan ride one time I heard somebody have to slam on the brakes because they come flying around a corner. Didn't see oncoming traffic, and about took me out. That was pretty scary. Let me think here. Water. Yeah, not just at camp. You always want to definitely make sure you have plenty of water with you. Take a jug with you. Yes. Insulated. They make these insulated jugs to keep you from getting too hot. I don't really like ice cold water, but this will keep you from baking in the sun. And some things that you want to travel with. There's a list of different tools. I like to go through my whole bike and think of the worst case scenario. If I have a breakdown, if my seat drops, am I going to be able to readjust it? Because sometimes you'll hit a bump or something, it might be a little bit loose, or it might twist on you, shift real quick, and then you can't get it quite back right. And that thing drops, you can't get back up, it's going to burn your thigh so bad, it's really going to get you. So definitely go through, make sure anything that you need to do. Quick release is the way to go for your tires. Got these little levers right here that pop out. That thing just pops right off. You don't need any tools to do that. But if you do have to use tools, make sure you have them, because you're out in the middle of the country and you get stuck. It's not a good thing. Yeah, go through, make sure you have all that. First aid kit, make sure you have your basics. You know, some bandages, some stuff to clean up your wounds. I don't carry big gauze or anything with me. I figure if I have my t-shirt and I have electrical tape, this stuff is great. Have electrical tape with me. When I was doing one of my rides, I have that handlebar wrap on here, and it started coming off on me. I just covered it up with the electrical tape, and I think I like it better now. Computers are really nice to have on there. They sell some pretty nice ones at the shops. Got a lot of different ones. I like to keep it pretty basic. I don't get a bunch of fancy stuff on there. But this one here will give you your speed, your distance. It's kind of neat to see what your distance is and your time. Keep track of your time. That's really good to have on you as well. Make sure you're adjusted right. There's a lot of information on there about, you know, before you go riding, your handlebar should generally be a little bit lower than your seat. You want your seat level, not pointed up or down. If it's down, you're constantly scooting yourself back all the time, so you'll get tired doing that. If it's up too much, well, you're not going to like that. Let me think here.
I think we're getting short on time, Kevin.
Make sure get you one of these. And with the helmet, you don't want any, you'll see people with like covers on them. You don't want anything, any kind of fabric, any kind of cloth cover on there. Because if you fall, your head, you want this to slide. The idea is that for you to slide. If you go ahead in that pavement, you want your head to slide on there. If you put something on there, it's going to be sticky. Might snap your neck, not a good thing. Make sure you got a good helmet, one that fits you well, breathes well, you're wearing it right. Anything else important I can think of before I push? Any questions?
You ever ride wreck brat? Wreck brat?
I do not know that one. You'll have to tell me about that one.
Registered annual Great Bicycle Ride across Iowa.
Hey,
They
don't
go
tell
from
me.
the west side of Iowa to the east side of Iowa. I lived in Iowa for 5 years.
I've done Michigan,
That sounds
and I've done
thrilling.
Indiana, and I would like to hit some more states, so,
Wreck brat, about 10,000 people.
wow.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I'll definitely be looking into that. That sounds like a good time. And know your local laws. I printed off a bunch of copies. It's 3 different pages. I didn't have anything to staple that together with, but that's all 3 pages. If you're looking to do any writing, there's your local laws. Some of the things. One thing I didn't know until I started doing the merit badge thing is it's against the law. It's illegal to ride on bicycle or ride a bicycle on sidewalks. Kids do it all the time on the game, but they run their kids be there, but you're really not supposed to be riding on sidewalks. So yeah, there's a bunch of weird little things you wouldn't know, like that red light. After 2 minutes, that light doesn't change, and it's safe. Go for it. And one of our merit badge, one of our group rides one day, we were sitting at a light over by the I think it's the BP on the north end of the cave there, and we're sitting there and it's red forever. And it's not tripping because it doesn't detect us. There's a cop over there, and I was like, well, guys, what do you do? 2 minutes. And they went for it. They get in trouble. You can tell they're just like, watching it. We're doing this right. It's really good
Okay.
times. I hope you guys can get out and do some riding this summer. I hope to see you out there. Love it. A lot of great memories with it, and look to make many more. So, thank you for letting me ramble. Yeah.
On these trails where they have walkers, runners, and bikes, how do you handle passing the people who are walking and running?
Okay, well, anytime you're passing, whether it be on a bike or even running or whatever, especially if you're riding by them, you want to announce it. You want to let them know. You always want to pass them on. You want to go around. You want to go left of them, so you'll let them know on your left. Never go around to the right. I used to go biking with somebody who always loved to come right up behind me on my right, and I'm not looking. I don't look to my right for anybody. And I don't know how many times I've run that guy off the road, because he's right there. He's half a bike length right up on me, and I swerved over. He's, "Ooh, you were watching." I'm like, "What are you doing on my right?" So yeah, make sure you announce it plenty well ahead of time. Make noise, whatever you can do, and yes, that's the way to handle that one.
You want to put off food safety
Yeah, we'll have
for
to put off
next
food safety.
time we meet.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all for your patience. Hey, see ya.
Thank you.
Hey, Greasy.
We had a radiologist who grew up in Iowa. And anyway, I lived in Iowa for 5 years. And he started on the west side and he go to the east side. That year,
That's
around
what we
that,
didn't
it was 150
get.
year anniversary of the town. They went, I guess,
We didn't ask people if they wanted to gather in Calvary
that day, yeah. So,
earlier.
Halfway, it's shot north.
no, it wasn't more than
Email survey
yeah, they went
and see.
like 75 miles north, 75 miles back. But, so they have 3 different groups. You have the ones that are true riders, get up at 6 in the morning and they take off. You have the ones that
It's snowing.
get up at 8 o'clock and they take off. And then you got the drunks that get up about 6 o'clock.
Yeah, oh gosh, there's I've been on, yeah, that's fun right there. That first round started doing a lot.
Talk to the old man. Hey guys.
What's right?